Corinne Blackstone and welcome to my craft room. I'm so happy to have you here today. Before we get started, be sure that you're subscribed here on YouTube. That way you don't miss out on any of the fun, crafty content we have coming. This is part 3 of my series of Cricut Design Space hacks. I think these will be super helpful for you regardless of if you are a beginner, if you are advanced, if you've been using Cricut for years, or just a couple of days. These hacks are things that I use on the daily to help my crafting be quicker and easier, so I can't wait to share those with you. Without further ado, let's get started. We have this really cute design, but I want it to be multicolors. And if you look here, it's only one single layer, meaning there is no ungroup option, so we can't change the colors of our layers. So let me show you 2 ways that you could do this to create the layers. The first way is to use the option of slice. I'm going to go under shapes, I'm going to open up a square, and then I want this square just to cover up the sunshine. So you need to make sure that it's not covering up any of your letters or anything like that, just cover up the sunshine. Select both items and choose slice. Now I can delete my square and one of the suns, and now I can change this sun independently to the color yellow. Now down here is a little bit different because this L goes up into the area between the S and the U. So using the contour option would be a better choice. In order to do that, I'm going to duplicate my design, choose contour, and for this, I'm going to get rid of the word summer. To get rid of it, you just click on each of the pieces that you no longer want in the design. Then I'm going to go to the one that is the summer lovin' still that has both pieces, contour, and this time I'm going to contour out lovin' by clicking all the pieces that I don't want, including the letter centers. Now what I have is my design in 3 different pieces, so I can change the colors to be whatever I want them to be. And simple as that, you have made your own design. Now I do see I accidentally left the little apostrophe. Easy enough, just go back in, remove it, and we're good to go. Now you have a design that is multi-layered, multicolored, and you did it in just a few seconds. This little time-saving hack really has my heart. So I'm going to use this summer design and show you. I'm going to click Make, and I want to cut all of this on the same mat by just lining up my vinyl or my HTV or whatever I'm cutting this with onto one single mat. In order to do that, I can keep everything the same color, and I just go to each mat, right-click those 3 dots, click Move Object, and select the mat that I just want to move it to. So I'm going to have everything moved to this pink mat. In order to fit everything, I'm just going to simply, again, right-click, move that object, move it to the pink, and then I'm going to line everything up. Now, I do look at the grid lines when I do this, so I know that the love I need to have between the top and the 3. Then summer needs to be between the 4 and the 7 as far as its material. And then for the sun, I want to cut it a little bit bigger than 8 so that it will fit. This is a really easy way to save some material, save yourself some time. It'll cut everything on one mat. You don't have to reload your mat a bunch of times. You can also always turn things as well if you prefer, so that you could have this lined up over on this corner grid if that's what you prefer to do. So just know that you can move things around on your mat, but when you want to line them up, you just line them up with the grid lines. When you place your material, just line it up with those grid lines on your mat. Everything will match up. Did you know that in Design Space, you can rename your layers? Now, this may seem like something you maybe don't really need to do, but sometimes it can be really helpful. So in order to do so, you can do this grouped or ungrouped, which I think is super helpful. So for this one, this is the lovin'. So sometimes I'll use it to maybe say, I want to cut this with metallic vinyl. So I'll call that metallic vinyl. And then maybe this one I want to cut with glow in the dark. So I'll just label them that way. Or sometimes if it's hard to see maybe what that item is, I'll just say that this is summer. So I know that that is in fact the word summer. Sometimes it can be really hard. Or like with this offset, maybe you just want to call this summer lovin' offset. You can really name them in any way that helps you out. You could name them with the color that you want to cut them with. You can name them with what the item is, with anything that you want to label them with can be super duper helpful. That way you know what you want to do with it, and it just makes the layers easier. This is also great if you have a ton of layers and you need to name them after something. Very, very helpful. That way you can see everything that you're using super easy here in Cricut Design Space. This hack I'm going to show you can be super helpful for a lot of different reasons, and I'll show you really quickly how to do this. So what we're going to do is hide layers. And I like to use this in a lot of different ways. Maybe I have a lot of things on my screen and I don't want to see so many things. Maybe I've changed my mind and I don't want to use the offset for this design, but I might want to use it for another time when I cut this, so I can just simply hide the layer. Now, when I do that, if I hit make, it's not going to have the offset layer, but I do still have access to that offset layer if I want to use it in the future. So it's a great way to hide things you don't want to cut right now. You can also use it as a super helpful tool if you're going to be slicing out layers. So let's say that I'm going to start down with the lovin' word as a slice item. I'm going to go ahead and select both of my items, and I'm going to use slice. Now, Cricut Design Space knows that I'm trying to slice that out because it was only 2 layers. I also like to use it if it's something like this where I only want to slice it for maybe one time that I want to use this design. So I'll just hide the colored layer and delete the black layer. And I can do that for each of my different layers. Then I can come down here to my group, show it again, and it'll look like everything's missing, but it's not. It's just under your design, so you can just pull that to the top. Then again, I can hide that layer and slice out the summer if I want to. Then I can delete the black one and hide the blue one. And I just got to pull that group back up to the top and then unhide the sun. So it's just a great way if you want to use those layers, hide them if you want to slice, or hide them if you don't want to cut them. It can be really helpful, and that way you can see everything you want. Then you can just bring those layers right back in, and again, you can hide a layer if you don't want to see it anymore. Maybe you just want to cut the summer love and you don't want the sunshine. Whatever you want to do with this is really easy to use that hide option. And again, if you hide it, it won't cut it. So it's really helpful when you're using things like templates and when you have items you don't want to cut, or if you cut this and let's say when you were weeding, something happened and you ripped the lovin', you can easily come back in, hide these 2 pieces, and only cut the word lovin'. And that way, if you mess something up, it's really easy to come back in and just cut the part that you need. So let's say that I'm going to be making this design on 10 shirts. There are a couple ways that I can make those 10 shirts all at once. The first way would be to select my entire design and sit here and duplicate it so that there were 10 designs on the canvas. First off, that's very messy. And second, that makes Cricut think a little bit too hard. So I'm going to go ahead and delete all my extras. And what I prefer to do is I'm going to click make. And there's this handy thing called project copies up here at the top of your screen that shows your different mats. So I just want to tell it that I need to make 10 of this same design. And you can make this with any design that you want. Then simply click apply. Now you'll see that we have all of our designs on our mat so that we have all the mats ready to go and laid out. This is such a time saver. It's really easier for Cricut this way. They really understand what they're doing, and it's just much faster to do it this way, rather than sitting here and trying to use duplicate and have a messy screen.